What's going on, guys? Today I am bringing you my Lenexa tournament report from the Lenexa Kansas Regional that we had yesterday. I got my invite. I went X2. It was really interesting and crazy because I went X2 after the first two rounds going X2. So I lost the first two rounds, and everybody I talked to said, just drop, you're not going to do anything, you're not going to make it. And I decided I was just going to play it out until I lost one more time. You know, when I lose my third match, I was going to stop, going to drop, do whatever, go trade. And I ended up not losing. So I just wanted to give you that deck profile, show you what I had. I know a lot of people are going to think, oh, it's just a generic Burning Abyss deck that he took to regional and got his invite with, woohoo. But I feel like everybody plays it differently. I mean, you can net deck a deck, but everybody plays that same deck differently. And I feel like my deck might be a little bit different than other people's. Probably not as much, but there are a few little changes, a few little tweaks. So round one, I lost to Medolce. No comment on that one. Match two, I lost to Lightsworn, and I literally just couldn't draw anything, and he drew the nuts and milled the nuts every single time. Game three, I played some Gaga deck, which I have no idea what it was or what he was even playing because I didn't really give him a chance to do anything. Game four, I played against Evil Swarms, handled that rather easily. Game 5, I played the mirror match, which was interesting because we kept countering each other, and every time somebody summoned a tour guide, either a Vanities would be on the field or a breakthrough would happen. So we basically just kind of pushed each other until one of us ran out of monsters in the deck. Game 6, I played against Battery Man and was able to stop from being OTK'd. Round 7, I played Spellbooks, went to time, and was able to handle it with Nightmare Shark, which people were telling me to take out of the deck, which I think would have been a horrible idea because Nightmare Shark is amazing. And finally, I played against a deck noted as HAM, Hands, Artifacts, Monarchs, which I thought was a really interesting idea, and it worked really well, but I feel like there could have been a few changes, but it was just a really good overall deck, and I feel like I probably should have lost to it, but oh well. We're going to jump straight into the deck profile for you guys. For the monsters, we have our standard 3 tour guide. Then we have 3 Skarm, 3 Graph, and 3 Seer. This is just the main engine of the deck because it really helps that you have the 3 Graph in there because you summon the tour guide, special summon Graph, go into a XYZ, probably Dante, detach, either grab a Skarm or a Seer so you can do your next turn's plays. Going on with the monsters, we're playing 2 Caius instead of 1. I know some people play 1, some people play 2. I love this 2 build just because obviously they're ulti, they're beautiful, but it really helps to get over things that you can't really do anything about. If there are problem monsters or problem, floodgates, say they have a macro or a defisher on the field, you can summon this and then banish it and get rid of it real quick. It's just a really overall good card, and it works well with the deck because they are darks, and you can special summon one if you need to, and then tribute it, or there are floaters, so you just wait until they destroy your Seer or something, then you can special summon a Dante, or your Dante, and then tribute the Dante for the Caius, and then get Dante's effect as well to add the Seer back to your hand. So it's just all kind of all of a loop. So moving on, we've got 2 effect failures, just because having effect failures in the deck is great. It stops a lot of things. Especially because some people side the effect failures. I like maining it because by the time you get to game 2, you might not see them. And I'd rather just have them game 1 and see them and take care of business game 1 and then be able to side for game 2. We're also playing 2 Max C in the main. We do side 1. I feel like 2 in the main is enough because you are going to see it plenty of times, and it works well because you don't really want them to take the Maxi challenge. You want them to do maybe 1 or 2 specials, stop, and then you get plus from it because you get a draw, but then you stop them from going off because you can't really draw anything that would stop them OTKing you if they start going off. Next, we are playing 3 1-ofs. We're playing 1 Mathematician, just because I feel like if you play more than that, it's kind of a dead draw, because you really just want to, you want to summon it, send your Graph to the grave, special summon Skarm, activate Skarm effect, send it to the grave because it gets destroyed when it's on the field with Mathematician, and then in the end phase you get to add. And the Mathematician is just a good floater that when it gets destroyed by battle, you get a +1 anyway. So after that, we're playing 1 Crane, just because once you start using your tour guides and all your effects, you kind of run out of monsters in the deck, and once you run out of monsters in the deck, it's kind of game over for you. So I play the one Crane just in case I do that, so that way I can still summon them from the grave as well, and just kind of keep things going from there. Because if I can summon a Crane, grab a Seer, then overlay for something, detach Seer, grab Dante from the grave, I can just start moving my loop around again. And the final monster that I play in the deck, just because we are playing lights and darks, I'm playing one beat stick with a black Lesser Soldier. You can banish stuff, you can attack twice, it's a really good card. Some people are playing a lot more than me, just like Black Lesser Soldier, Dark Arm Dragon, 2 Chaos Sorcerer, that kind of thing. And I feel like that's just overplaying it, because more likely than not, unless you open up with Dark Arm Dragon, it's going to be dead in your hand. You're not going to have to use it for like fodder for Phoenix Wing Blast or something like that. And I don't really want to do that. As well as Chaos Sorcerer, you don't really have that many lights in the grave, and I feel like a lot of times during the day, I was praying for an Effect Veiler in my hand, or I was praying to get a Dante in the grave so I could get a BLS on the field. So that was it for our monsters. Moving on to our spells, we are playing 2 Rank Up Magic Astral Force. A lot of people are playing 3, some people playing 1, some people playing none. I think 2 is a good number. You are going to mill it, obviously, with Dante's effect, but if you can open it up in your hand, it's really good. I feel like 3 is overdoing it, just because you don't want to see it that often. You do want to see it because you want to get your Pleiades off and your other rank 5s you have in your side deck, or your extra deck, but I feel like 2 is just a good number because then you can fill that 3rd spot with something else. Then we are playing 2 MST, just because there are floodgates out there. Someone flips that enemies, you want to be able to get rid of that so you can start going off. Somebody has those Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, you want to get those. There's a lot of different things, Defisher Macro, things that you do want to hit that will really slow down this deck. So you want to keep those in your hand usually until they have one of those floodgate cards that's going to really mess you up, and you don't want to go off blind MSTing unless you're going to go for game. Because when you're going to go for game, you got to get rid of those pesky back rows. Then we have a bunch of one-ofs for it. We have our 2 staples. We have our Dark Hole and Book of Moon. A lot of people are saying, don't play Dark Hole, don't play Dark Hole, it's really bad this format, just because of all the special summoning and like all the loops that you can just like, oh, it's destroyed, okay, well I'm going to special summon something else. Yes, that happens, but sometimes you just need to clear the field. So I play those 2. And then Book of Moon just because being able to either flip your stuff face down to stop it from being destroyed by like Deep Prison or like Deep Prison or Mirror Force, something like that, is good, as well as just being able to stop your opponent from like exceeding that turn. Like say they summon 2 rank 3 or 2 level 3s or 2 level 4s, you can just Book of Moon one real quick and then stop their play dead in its tracks. And then we are playing 1 Allure of Darkness because we are playing an all dark deck, and if we need to have a little draw power going, we can do that. We're playing 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Soul Charge because Soul Charge is still good. We don't really need 3 in this deck, but 1 is good. And then my tech for the day is Creature Swap. I realize that sometimes you have some really big problems, especially with my teammate Kevin. If he gets Leo on the field, I can't target it, and unless I can draw into like a Compulse or something like that, I'm kind of screwed. So I figured out Creature Swap is a good thing to do, because if they do have something on their field that you can't get over, you can't get over, someone in your monsters, like a Skarm or Graf or whatever, and then you Creature Swap, grab their monster, attack over your own monster you just gave to them, their effect activates in the grave, and you get to keep plussing even after that. So I just feel like it's a really good card. If I could have played it too, just because of how good it was, it worked out really well for me. Moving on to the traps, we got 3 Breakthrough Skill. Really good this format, really stops everything. Really need to watch your graveyard though, because when you do mill it with Dante, and sometimes you could forget that it's in the graveyard. So remember to watch your graveyard, so when you know you have one in the graveyard, you can use it during your turn. Then we were doing 2 Phoenix Wing Blast. A lot of people are playing Karma Cuts. I like Phoenix Wing Blast just because not only are you getting rid of their monster on the field, like you can use it to the extra deck, send their stuff back to the extra deck, but you can also set them up so, say they have to set a monster. That's all they have is that monster. Well, I'm going to Phoenix Wing Blast, send that monster back to the top of the deck, so next turn, that's what? You're going to draw that same monster, you're going to have to set it again. So you get no momentum, and I get to keep building up my plays, because I'm probably going to discard one of my Malbranches and have their effects go off in the grave. So it's just a really good card. And then we're playing 2 Dimensional Prison, because banishing things in this format is really good because it stops everything from going off in the grave, because that's what a lot of the effects are doing now. So if we can banish those instead, as long as I can't bring them back, then it's really good. And then our last two traps of the deck, we are playing one Solemn Warning because Solemn Warning is amazing. And then we're playing one Compulse because it's really, really good this format because we can just send all your extra stuff. Like, say you're playing the mirror match, he summons Dante, well I'm just going to Compulse that real quick. He doesn't get his effect to add back to hand. Yes, you're going to get the units, XYZ units effects go off, but they don't get a plus as well as they would have. That is it for our main deck. Going on to our extra deck, we are playing 2 Dante, Travel Over the Burning Abyss. I feel like 3 is overkill. 2 is a perfect number. You do want to go into these a lot. First turn, if you can get one off and like put it in defense and then have more of your Burning Abyss, Malbranch cards go off. It's just a really good card. So I'm playing 2 of those. We begin with the rank 3s. We're playing 2 Ghost Trick Alucard. This is a really good card to pop, you know, your opponent's set monsters, your opponent's back row. And one thing I do is I'll summon this just to like draw out their back row. Because if you summon this and they don't have something to get rid of it real quick, you're going to be popping their back row. So if they have something, they're going to use it on these. And then you're safe to, you know, go off with your Dantes or whatever you're going to be going off with. We are then playing 1 Granosaurus. That way we can rank it up later on. 1 Mech Equipped. 1 Acid Golem. Amazing card. Especially when they have that Majesty's Fiend on the field. Hint, hint. 1 number 47 Nightmare Shark. And number 49 Fortune Tune. I know that sounds kind of stally, but sometimes you do need to get your level 3s that are currently in your graveyard back into the deck. So it's a good way to gain some life points and kind of stall them out a little bit, so you can draw some stuff, get your hand, you know, refilled, and then when they destroy it, then you can send that back to the extra deck and then put 2 back into the deck. So you can have like a tour guide in your hand, send 2 back into the deck, so you can kind of keep your momentum going instead of running out and just kind of saying, oh, well, I ran out of monsters. Good game. We're playing 1 rank 4 with Downward Magician because it's a good way to exceed over your Dantes once he runs out of his units and he can't really do anything else. Then we are playing, for our rank up cards, we're playing 2 Pleiades for our 2 Dantes. Pleiades is amazing in the format. If you can get 2 out, it's amazing. Just a great overall card. Deals with a lot of things. It does have that 2500 attack, so it's really good this format. So I would definitely consider, if I could play 3 somehow, I would, but 2 is good enough. Then we're playing 1 Crimson Knight Vampire Bram, or Braum, whatever you want to call it, for our Alucards. If I do want to go into that, I never really got into it, but it was there just in case I did need it, especially for defense because it was destroyed. You can special summon it in your standby phase, so it's kind of just a little wall. Then we're playing 1 number 61 Volcasaurus, really good to burn, especially Granosaurus, as well as we are playing our last card, Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. So we do have that little play going where you can bring out your Volcasaurus, activate effect, destroy their 1 monster on the field, they take damage, overlay it for Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. Another thing you can do is you can have your Vampire Bram get destroyed, standby phase, special summon it. You can't really switch because it was special summon that turn, so then you overlay it with Gaia Dragon, and then you can start attacking again. So that is my main deck and my extra deck. I'm not really going to go into my side deck just because that was my thoughts on what I was going to see. I really thought I was going to see more Stellar Knights as well as Shaddoll's, Burning Abyss, Yang Zings, but the only one I really saw was Burning Abyss with the mirror match, and I got taken care of. So that was all I saw for kind of the main meta right now. So that's all I got for right now, guys. Thanks for checking out the meta call. Stay tuned for our next video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, don't give it a thumbs down because you don't want to be a hater. Be sure to subscribe for our next upcoming video. Thanks, guys. That's all I got. Peace.